Shalom Israel. First and foremost, I do want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Ba'ashem Rakakadash, the born to the apostles, and else great millstone for teaching us his truth, peace, and blessings. Just hope like visible Yahweh is the name of the unfallen Hebrew. Ba'ashem is the name of Yahweh Shai is the name of the begotten Son. Back here in the lesson, as he was in the title, ye women will taste or eat humble pie. And I got this video right here, which I actually seen before, but I recently came across it again. And I thought I'd make a lesson, going into it, because you just see, today how rebellious, how out of order, how wicked a lot of these, women are today. And why is this not worth dealing with? That's why I see a lot of men are not wanting to deal with these women. Also, I see a lot of these jakes. They call it, passport bros, where, they'll travel to these, other lands and get with these, women of the other nations, because they'd rather deal with them because they're naturally submissive. They'll listen and are not a loud-mouthed, rebellious woman, as you see all throughout Babylon the Great, which is what's heavily promoted. And really, now you're starting to see that gain traction, or has been gaining traction, because now you have a lot of these women of the other nations are now beginning to pretty much act out. As you get in the scriptures, how they have drunken the wine of her fornication. Following the wicked ways of Babylon the Great. But you got this post right here. And obviously one of the first scriptures that came to mind was Isaiah 32. Woe unto you women that are at ease, because y'all are going to be in a jam. Y'all are going to be in a pickle. And guess what? No man is going to help you out of it. As a matter of fact, you see in various situations where you have these women will be in a dire situation, or they'll have a flat tire and no one's stopping for them on the highway, and they'll be in a situation, an altercation, where the case may be. A lot of men around them that don't help whatsoever, and they wonder why. They'll make these posts on Instagram, TikTok about the situation that took place. There were a bunch of men around me that didn't do anything. What's the point of them, this and that? Yet they don't hear the things that they say, even, before that. Where you see heavily being pushed that the man's not needed, the man is useless. But then, in that situation, you need and want a man. So which one is it? It's like their mind goes blank, or actually, another point just came to mind, how that tough, independent / feminist spirit always gets thrown out the window when they're in trouble. And that's what you see in various of these, situations, as I was just, speaking on right there. Because they'll be, butthurt that no one came to their aid. They don't want to hear the things that they say. Then you'll hear them, act out, or, lash out, however you want to say it, on TikTok and these different videos. Well, and you wonder why you didn't get help. A lot of men are getting sick and tired of you, man, as you're going to see right here within this video. It says, why do you keep looking at that? Let's see, why do you keep looking at that account? Because it's men show equality. I guess this is just dude, promoting his page in the caption, but got this video right here where we have this Jake. Hey, put this woman in her place, pretty much. And people get offended and hurt over this. It just goes to show how soft and how out of order, how wicked this place is. You have a lot of these shrimp men out here that will defend women, and fight tooth and nail for them. Which is a bunch of just, I'm not sure I'll be able to say that word, but it starts with the W and then night after it. It's also why I said shrimp instead of SIMP. You're just being careful on my words, because they'll flag the videos, or whatever the case may be, if you use these certain types of words. But I do play this real quick, so I'm kind of rambling. But let's get this video out the way and get a couple scriptures, and that'll be the point. Dive into it.
Do it, because you ain't on shit. You ain't on shit.
Oh, she touched me. She touched me. What's wrong with you, motherfucker?
Do it.
And I seen a longer video of this. It kind of goes on, but I hate situations like this where you have the woman putting the hands on the man, punching him, spitting on whatever the case may be, and when the man finally snaps, now people want to step in. Now people want to pull him off and separate them and stop what's happening. Yet before that, they were laughing, giggling. Yeah, it just goes how through this place is. Even I saw right here. She's all up in his face, pushing him.
You ain't on shit. You ain't on shit.
Oh, she touched me. She touched me.
No one steps in.
What's wrong with you, motherfucker?
But now it's all, come on. See what these comments had to say. To men wasting no time. I blinked, she was folded. But that's the point. And you can see various videos like that. There's Isaiah 32, 9 through 11. And it says, "Rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. Tremble, ye women that are at ease. Be troubled, ye careless ones. Strip you, make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins." So great trouble is coming your way. And it's well deserved, really. Because in today's society, you see women are put, on the pedestal. They're on top in today's society. That's why you see them not getting in trouble. And why they're always the so-called victim. In a lot of situations in reality, they started, they did something to cause the man to react, whatever the case may be. And somehow it's the man's fault. But that's also another problem dealing with these women, which is their accountability, which there is none. The woman's kryptonite is accountability. But as 1 Timothy 2:12 says, "But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence." So going to show that there is an established order. And in today's society, you don't see that being upheld. What's promoted and pushed is the rebellion, against the ways of Yahweh Bashmal Shanas, especially, rebelling against the man. They're just dealing with the order. Speaking of these women. Because once now you see how the man is painted today in society is useless, not important, not needed. Yet always you see in troublesome situations, they're always begging and crying for a man. Same thing in these last days. But hey, keep that same energy, as these women love to say. And we truly hope you do. We truly do. Because you're going to get what's coming to you. Matter of fact, go and call that bear for help. And you still have women all over that. And if you know what I'm talking about, dealing with this poll, pretty much, that was held, or a question that was asked, and you see it run rampant, trending over Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, or they asked the one, would you rather? It's really they're the ones that push that. That would you rather be in a forest with a bear or a man? And a lot of women are choosing the bear. So we'll see what that bear does for you in these last days, when all hell's breaking loose, when chaos is erupting, when homes are being broken into, when troops are coming down to these neighborhoods, robots, super soldiers, all these different things. Go and call that bear for help. And I just made that point. These women are still on that. You find various videos where you have these women doing something stupid, or being in a dire situation, or whatever the case may be. And you have these men in the comments say, hey, go and call that bear for help. Because a lot of these men are starting to put their foot down. And starting to realize that you men are not worth dealing with. But they'll put in the comments, go and call that bear for help. And you have women replying to the comments. Yeah, I'd rather still pick the bear, this and that. Matter of fact, I do remember the post. It was a bear in the forest, and it was a huge bear. You know, it was an intimidating bear. But, you know, they were taking photos of it, the case may be, and you saw just how massive and, you know, big it was in the video. And you had your men saying, this is who you want to help you? And, of course, you have the women in the comments trying to be petty and smart and outwit the men. And, yeah, that's what we'd rather pick. That's what we'd rather choose. Because they don't grape us, this and that. They at least just take you out. Hey, these are things that you see. And it's going to show the vexation, man. Now, this we're going to Ecclesiastes. I want to say 7-7. It's not 7-6. Going to, you know, surely pressure to make the wise men mad. And Ecclesiastes, I want to say 1-14. Going to it's not about, you know, vanity and, you know, vexation of the spirit. I was trying to remember it. But got a couple more scriptures. That'd be the point. You know, sorry for kind of rambling. Just came across that video and I thought I'd make a lesson, you know, going into it, because a lot of you want to be put in your place. Great troubles coming your way. So we'll see if you continue to act in this rebellious state and see where it gets you. Because guess what? It ain't going to get you far. Now, the 1 Corinthians 14:40, and it says, let all things be done decently and in order. So there is an order. And guess what? These women hate that order, especially you see within these relationships. They're always trying to be the ones to wear the pants within these households. You know, that they're on top. That it's their body, their choice. Punishment wants to make the man non-existent within these relationships. You know, if you put your foot down, you don't want your woman wearing certain things or going out and doing certain things. Nah, it's always the go-to. Insecure. It's a toxic masculinity. You're too controlling. This is the rebellious spirit you see being pushed. It is 1 Corinthians 11:3. It says, but I have you know that the head of every man is Hamashiach, is Yahushua, and the head of the woman is the man. Does it say the head of the man is the woman? No. It says the head of the woman is the man. It's also why you go in Isaiah 4:1, how 7 women, which that number 7 goes into the word completion, so you won't be any amount. The 7 women shall take hold of one man. Does it say 7 men to take hold of a woman? No. Further going to show you men are not the prize. You're not the reward. The men are. The men is to be the one to be sought after, especially, you know, speaking of the men of the Lord in these last days. You further get to Isaiah, I want to say the 13th chapter, not the 14th chapter, going to, you know, shall make the man more precious than, you know, fine gold. You also get Isaiah 32, which we read earlier in the 2nd verse, going to show how well desired the man of the Lord is going to be. So we got that. To actually finish that one more time. But I have you know that the head of every man is the Mashiach, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Mashiach is the Most High. So going to show there is an order. But you see in today's society that is heavily, you know, ostracized and rebelled against, you know. This is Ecclesiastes 25:19. This is all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. Which is the portion of a sinner? As you know, scripture, for the wages of sin is death. And what is sin? The transgression, the breaking of the law. And this is an out of order and rebellious thing to do, is to rebel against the man, especially, you know, if you're really specifically speaking, you know, of these relationships. And really just what you see today in general. You know, how out of order and rebellious these women are today. And also, you know, what the man is painted and looked upon as today is weak. You know, nothing. Useless. You know, various things. But, you know, further going to that point, just, you know, the rebellion, you know, that you see. How out of order, how out of whack, things are. And just going back to that point I was making, you're dealing with the rebellion of these women against the man. That you especially see within these relationships, and that once you just see on a flat level, just in general. These women think that they're above the man. But as we read earlier, not to usurp authority, over the man. But just, further going to show just how out of order, how out of whack, everything is. It's like if it's not like a broken record, but gotta be pushing that point across, because when we say these things, they paint it as hate speech. They paint it as toxic masculinity. They paint it as if we just hate women. No, and we love righteous women. But hey, those are few. They get outweighed, via these wicked and rebellious women that you see today. But hey, guess what? Come these last days, those wicked women are not going to be chosen. They're not going to be, selected. They're going to be, rejected. Because you also have these women that go on about, hating on these other women that are so-called, pick-me's. What's the problem with being a pick-me? Hey, we're pick-me's for, Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai. You should want to be selected and be, chosen. You also have women that look upon that as bad. That you shouldn't be doing all that for man. You shouldn't be, doing this and doing that. You should be building up your roster, this and that. It's just all in whack. But let's continue on. Let's get these last two scriptures. Ecclesiastes 25:16 says, I'd rather dwell with a lion and a dragon than to keep house with a wicked woman. You know how wicked these women got to be that you'd rather dwell with a lion, a dragon, and be in a house with a wicked woman. That should just put it into perspective. These women wonder today why wise men don't want to deal with them. Why they're not chasing after you. Because men realize that you're not the prize. Men will do leaps and hurdles for a lot of these women. And you see how that ends up turning out. The woman still cheats on him, commits adultery. Goes behind his back. Does sort of also speaking too fast. There's all sorts of various things that the men wouldn't want the woman to do. It's just through. It's through. And there's also another scripture that goes along with this right here too. But there's Psalms 82:5. Closing scripture says, not nearly understand. They walk on the darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. It's all out of whack. It's all jumbled up. And we're quite literally in the upside down. If you've seen the show Stranger Things. Also another example, we're in a bizarre world. If you know anything about Bizarro, he's the complete opposite, of Superman. Superman having heat vision, he has freeze vision. You get the idea. As you have wickedness being looked upon as righteousness in today's society. Righteousness looked upon as wickedness. So you just see how out of order, how rebellious these women are today, and really is why they're not worth dealing with. And it should be the least of our priorities. Especially with the times we're coming into, dealing with Isaiah 4:1, dealing with all the various women the Lord's going to send your way. Especially in the kingdom. That's me the least of our problem. But I just want to go into that point, dealing with that video we just pulled out, how a lot of these men are getting sick and tired of these women's bull. The rebellion are now beginning to put their foot down. and really are beginning to, what's the word I'm looking for? There's a certain word I was wanting to get. But just, not taking any flack, pretty much. They're done. So you saw how that man acted out. But no, he's going to be looked upon as, the bad guy. But the point was made. I don't need to, drag it out. Make it long as it be. I do close out. Give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Kakadash, and Shalom. See you next one, the Lord's will.